I just looked and it's 10 o'clock. It's like, oh, I'm not quite ready. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the live. Today we are making, as requested, chicken, what was it again? Tortilla. Chicken tortilla soup. But this soup is not going to have a lot of tortillas because I am not a tortilla type of person. Oh, turn the volume up. So, sorry, I didn't mean to raise my arm. But it's not bushy, so we're gonna make this soup, and I was able to find a small bag of chips, tortilla chips, because I was worried that I was gonna be left with good morning, with a big bag of chips, and I'm not a chips person. So I'm still gathering my stuff. So the tortilla soup, buenos dias, the tortilla soup has, you start the base, with onions and garlic, and then the chicken I'm going to roast. Good morning. Oh, Angela, es Panamania. See, I love Panama. Thank you so much. Denise, good morning. Good morning. So we're going to make, and I do have a big thing of, I have some stock. Remember we talked about always just throw some vegetable, put some water, and let it cook slowly, and always have these. You can freeze them or put them in your fridge. And whenever you're cooking, you're always going to have stock. And what stock does, when I went to culinary school, that was the first thing they taught us how to do. Make stock, because that was your base, the basis for all your food. Sharon Somerville Thomas. Oh, Sharon, hey. When I see the Somerville, you kind of throw me off, girl. That's a French name, right? Anyway, or Canadian, I guess. So we're going to do that. And then I see people do Instant Pot. You could put them in an Instant Pot, throw everything together, but I'm just not that kind of person. So what we're going to do today, we're going to roast our chicken breast. I bought a couple of chicken breasts. We're not going to use all of it, but I'm still going to have it, then I can snack on it. And then it calls for canned black beans. I cooked my black beans last night with garlic and 1 bay leaf. It's so easy to do. If you don't have to use a can something, don't use it, right? Good morning from Jamaica. Ah, hello. Been waiting for your video to start my Sunday. Oh, that is so sweet of you. Thank you so much. Uh-oh, Jamaica. She probably is a good cook. All right, be kind. And I decided I want to add, whatever I do, I Magganize it. I put my touch on it. So I cooked some chickpeas. So we're going to have, again, 1 bay leaf and 2 cloves of garlic. That's all. And then that chickpea is so flavorful. And all I do, like yesterday, I felt like a snack, and I put some of those chickpeas, and then I threw in a little bit of my herb oil, that secret sauce here. That goes with everything. Bread, chips, tortilla chips, beans, eggs, salad. Anything I am eating, I just put a little bit of this on. I did give you the recipe. So, herb oil. Always have that on hand, just like you want to have your broth. Okay? All right. So, we are going to roast our chicken. And then the other thing it calls for is some tomatoes. But I do have a can of diced tomatoes, but I try to stay away from canned. So today we're going to make our own tomato sauce, okay? So we can put in there. And I did find a small bag of tortilla chips. Now some people do tortilla strips. Apparently you can buy, I don't buy that stuff. You can buy tortilla, like they come in rounds like that, and then you slice them, and then you put them on a sheet pan, and then you can spray them with maybe some herb oil and toast it like that. You could do that, but I didn't want to do that today. So I'm just going to crumble some of that on top of the soup. And then I showed you that I bought this pretty bowl. Isn't that cute? So we're going to put our soup in here. All right. So what we're going to do right now, The other thing that the soup calls for is a can of corn. We're gonna roast our own corn. All right, so let's get the chicken in, and we're gonna roast our corn, and we're gonna, while that's cooking, we're gonna make our tomato sauce. That's more fun that way. This is therapy. Come into the room. We're just gonna have therapy. It's gonna be a kumbaya session. So I put my gym clothes on because after I finish here, I'm gonna hit the gym. So what I thought we would do also is talk about how we're going to continue this cooking gathering that we've created, right? And I'm going to tell you about my membership program that is starting tomorrow with the workouts. Since I took some days off from the working out. All right, here's another one. Already have a troll. All right. People just are too busy. Call them busybodies, right? Too much. All right. And of course, you know your sis. We're not gonna just take a couple of chicken breasts and throw it in there and roast it like that. No. This chicken breast was marinating since last night. Why would I just cook chicken like that? No. That would be against who I am. All right? So, all right. I do need more tongues. I just feel like I don't have enough. I only have one set and I need more. All right? So we're going to put our chicken to roast, okay? Of course, your chicken is like fresh garlic, onions, some cilantro, some thyme, a little bit of cumin, a little bit of oil. I have some cilantro in here, thyme, and also romero. Rosemary is good for meat. If you're cooking meat, it's a good herb to put on meat. It's usually good for to keep your meat from tasting gamey. If you have like goat and stuff. I find that I don't use goat. Last time I tried to eat goat, maybe 2 or 3 years back, I got sick to my stomach. So I know for my Jamaican friend, you probably can imagine that, but no, I can't. The only meat now I can tolerate, which I had a problem with when I was totally whole food plant-based, I was getting sick even from eating chicken breast, like a chicken tender or something. But now I feel like I see that I can tolerate it, but I don't want to go overboard. And I know that when I feel my best is when I don't eat meat. How do I go about joining your Spanish classes? You just have to send me an email. Tell me about SWRA@gmail.com. 2-week trip in Panama. Oh, okay. Okay. Hola, Greta, my friend. ¿Cómo estás? Bien? All right, no cafe today. I don't have any coffee, Greta. It's a joke. All right, so now we are going to roast our corn. And what I want to do, where's my knife? It's not fun to just eat the corn. You want to, okay, let's see. We got to exchange pots. Remember, I'm trying not to have as many pots in this kitchen as I did before. Because, oh my God, I had stuff. Woo. And you don't know how much stuff you have. You know how it is, ladies, until you're trying to get rid of it. And then you're like, oh my God. This lady was telling me she was downsizing to come to Panama. And she said when she thought she was done, she opened a cupboard and there's gonna be more stuff. She's like, oh my gosh. Yes, I know all about that. All right, so in thinking about, we decided we wanted to do only soups for July. So we're gonna do that. I think we only have about two Sundays left, which is fine. Um, let's try, when I get the suggestion for the soups, let's keep in mind we want something that is not heavy in carbs, right? I have a recipe for I made a good potato leek soup. Oh my God, it was amazing. Then we toasted some onions and we decorated. It was so nice. But, you know, it's not low carb. We had lots of potatoes. The leeks is good. The potatoes aren't bad, right? Debbie, oh, Debbie's here. All right, my peeps. These are my students from my Spanish classes. We have so much fun in those classes, let me tell you. You know, my sisters, we are all kind of vintage. So it's always fun because it's like, it's not registering. The brain is a little bit asleep. So, all right, so we're going to cut that corn down, okay? And so when you teaching in the class, they're doing good, and then they say, I don't know, as soon as I get home, I forget. This sister, I've told all my classes this joke because it was just so funny. She said, I don't know why you're asking me all this stuff. I only know 2 Spanish words, she said. And I'm like, only 2? She said, I only know 2 words. Oh my gosh. So it's not easy for my sisters to learn Spanish, okay? Because, you know, the brain is getting older, and for you to be acquiring new knowledge, you can. But boy, it could be a challenge. So we laugh so hard, and we dread out in our class when I ask something and they act like they never heard it. And then I'm like, whoo, let me take a swag of my coffee. So that's becoming an inside joke, right? So Greta's like, she's got coffee ready for me. Do you guys know that corn is a staple of Panamanian cooking, right? Because of the indigenous influence and culture that we have here. So there's a lot of corn that is used. And corn tortillas are everywhere. I think every Panamanian has that for breakfast. I think I've had it once. I like the corn empanadas. You know, there is a little fonda. For those of you who may not know, a fonda is like a mom and pop type restaurant, and they're all over the place here in Panama. But they all come in different sizes. You know, if you go to a really average neighborhood, it might be like in a small little, almost looking like a container looking size thing, and they could be very small, or all the way up to like a fancy one, like there's a place called Fonda Lo Que Hay, and I'm like, I don't know why you put Fonda in that name, because it's like a high-end type restaurant. But anyway, there is a little fonda here called El Motete, and I keep saying the name because that's my favorite fonda. When I need a sancocho, which is the soup here that they make, which is also the national dish of Panama, that's where I go. And they serve it in this teeny little steel pot. It's so cute. But I had that on Sundays. They have a spread. It's like a brunch type spread for breakfast. Lots of stuff. But one day I tried that fried empanadas with like a meat and pepper and onion mixture. Ooh, that stuff was so good. In my class yesterday, someone made the comment, everything is fried. I'm like, yes, that's why we don't get sick. I heard somebody say the same thing about Colombia. But you know what? We're related to Colombia. We were part of Colombia, so the cultures are quite similar. And the food Fry, 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 fry. Yes, yes, yes. All right. So we are going to roast our pepper. I mean our corn. And what do you think I'm gonna season it with? Any guesses? Uh-huh. You know, you know how we do. So I think that's gonna be better than just a can of corn. Oh. You know I like to up it up a little bit, right? Okay. So what we're gonna do again, we're gonna take a little bit of our herb oil. Secret sauce, always have that on hand. Look at that. You just take like that. Yes. And then whatever you have in your house that you want to give a good taste to, just add a little herb oil. I do that with all my vegetables that I am roasting. Yesterday I had some leftover calabaza squash. I mixed it in there with a little herb oil and put it in the oven. And then I had a crown of broccoli. But I didn't want to do the broccoli because it was going to become all brown, in the heat. So I blanched the broccoli because I like that pop, that green color. So what you do, you cut off the broccoli into your florets. You boil some water, put it, oh my God, it says reconnecting. I thought we had gone off. All right. Yes, and then put the broccoli in an ice bath. You do the ice bath to keep the color and then to keep it from continuing to cook, to stop the cooking process. And then I drained it and then added a little bit and tossed it into a little bit of that herb oil. And then with that roasted squash, amazing. Listen. Cooking does not have to be difficult. You just have to think through what you're doing. All right. So we're going to roast this corn here. So when we put it in our soups, it's going to taste even better, don't you think? Yes, it will. All right. So now we are ready to make our tomato sauce. All right. So you know when I make marinara, it's a base of garlic, onions, and then, let's see, what else do we put in there? Now, for marinara, when I learned to make marinara sauce, I told you that we were taught to use a little bit of carrots because what it does is balance that red color, so it's not a bright red. It's kind of slightly orangey. Good. And remember that you've heard of the Holy Trinity. The Holy Trinity is onions, carrots, and I think celery. So whatever you're doing, if you cut those really small and then you build flavor with it, a winner every time. Every time. So don't discount the importance of working on your flavor profile. You know what? Let me bring it over here because otherwise you're not going to be able to see. Let's bring it on this burner. Sorry guys for all the movement. Listen, this is unscientific here, okay? I do not have a staff or a photographer, none of that. And then whenever I start cooking, I'm like, oh, the good hormones in my brain start flowing, the endorphin, the dopamine. Yes. Black beans, yes. I cook them overnight. Well, I soak them first and I cook them with 1 bay leaf and 2 cloves of garlic. So I'm going to be sure I use those cloves of garlic. And I'm going to drain. I've decided I want to put some chickpeas in mine. Same thing. I cook the chickpeas with garlic and 1 bay leaf. Do that. You don't ever have to buy canned peas anymore. Soak them overnight and then cook them just like that. Every time. Flavorful. Alright? Uh-oh. All right, now see, this is what happened. Something had happened with the internet. So now my stove, I have to reset it. Hang on. Yep, that's what happens when you do electric, right? Let's see, I think I put somewhere where the setting is. Okay. Okay. But my oven is working, but the stove top. Oh dear Lord. Okay. I thought I had put it on the panel. What do we say that? Oh my gosh. I had to go on the electric panel and reset it. That is insane. I'm so glad I remembered. Oh, thank you, Lord. Okay. So, what were we talking about? Yes, to make sure you pay attention to how you season your food, because then it becomes so much easier, right? And you don't ever have to worry about your food not tasting good. And that could be a problem for me because I like my food too much after I cook it. Alright. So we are going to make our own tomato sauce. Oh my God, there is this song I found yesterday. Alessandro Safini. He's an Italian tenor. Oh my goodness. He sounds so good. He sings with Sarah Brightman. You know, my daughter knows that if I die, you know, I'm going to be cremated. So when they do the, my daughter is coming in a couple of weeks. I'm so excited to visit. And she knows that I want her to show pictures of my life, happy pictures, just a collage, and then to play Sarah Brightman. So she talked to me the other day. I was like, Sarah Brightman. She said, oh, you still want that? I'm like, yes. I just like Sarah Brightman. You know, in terms of my taste in music, it's kind of eclectic. The two music I really can tolerate too much is rock and rap. I mean, I can listen to them for like 2 minutes, and then, ooh, and then I have to move away. All right, a little bit of oil, no mucho. What is happening with my cat here? Okay. So you brown some onions, you always start with that. And then garlic. Whatever it is that you are cooking, start with onions and garlic. And I know I've met several ladies who are like, I don't cook. And they're like kind of proud of it. And I'm like, dude, that is strange. I was taught how to cook. All right, and you put the AC on now. And for those who don't cook, you're in luck because in Panama, they have chefs who would cook for you and deliver the food to your home. And I mean, you know that's not gonna be me, right? Mm-mm. But you know, people have asked me if I want to do that. No, I don't. That's too much work. I think you get to a certain age, you're trying to reduce your workload, not increase it. Now, don't get me wrong. I work digitally. I work online. I do things on the computer. To me, that's not so much work as doing physical work. That's why, you know, I thought about opening another cafe, and I'm like, oh, just the thought of it. I mean, I worked so hard when I had my cafe. I don't want to do that anymore. No. No quiero, no quiero. So now I want the garlic to be a little bit on the rough side. I don't want it to be too fine, right? Because we're making soups. So you saw I took it off the heat because if I didn't, my onions would burn. And I don't want that. If you burn your onions and garlic, you have to start over. You'll never get your taste back. Never. Alright. So, onions and garlic. And then now, hola Maggie, buenos dias. So we had a beautiful, blessed, born day. Yes, I did. You know what? People were asking me, oh, what are you doing? I hope you're going to do this and that. And I'm like, no. And I explained that to some of them that when I was growing up, my birthday was never a big deal. My mom never really celebrated us. So for that reason, I'm just not looking for that. So for my birthday, I had a massage, and then I ate some food that I had been restraining myself from eating. I had fried fish. I even had some cheesecake. And then the next day I look in the mirror and I'm like, yep, I indulged. So now, now it's back to the grind. We gotta go back to normal. So I'm putting the carrots in here, and I'm only doing half of the carrot. I don't want to do a whole lot of it. And I'm dicing it really small because I want it to disappear in the sauce a little bit. Okay? And then you know how we do, we're going to deglaze it with a little bit of the white wine, and then we'll put the put tomato paste, and then tomatoes, and let it simmer, and then we're done. It's not complicated. Yes, you can go to the store and buy a jar of ragu, and what was the one I used to buy? Prego. And like I told you, here in Panama, we have a lot of tomato products from our Spanish heritage. Alright? So I got some Roma tomatoes. I'm going to dice them really small. Hello from California, on my way to church. Yay! Hope you have a blessed and lovely day. P.S. You're a great cook. Oh, thank you so much. You know what? It's love. I absolutely love cooking. And my mom didn't teach me how to cook. My neighbor, believe it or not, when I was growing up, my mom wasn't around. She was a single mom and she worked hard. It was my neighbor who taught me how to cook. So, it takes a village, you guys. say it takes a village, it is true. My mom, as a single mom, she worked a lot. So she wasn't around a lot. And my neighbor, who was a widow, pretty much adopted us. So my mother would go work overnight, she'd be gone, and would be staying at my neighbor's house. And she would, teach us how to be a lady, how you sit, how to keep house. So I am blessed, very blessed. All right, so this is good. So I'm gonna squeeze some tomato. Let me deglaze first. Let's deglaze. Oh, my Riesling. So before I do that, I'm gonna do a little bit of seasoning. Pepper. Yes, we can do paprika today. That's gonna be pink. Ooh, oh my God, what a mess I made here with this. Oh. I had a little bag with some red pepper flakes and it fell over. All right, really good. And then as soon as I have deglaze, I'm gonna add tomato paste and then the tomatoes, and then let it simmer, right? I just love white wine in any kind of tomato sauce that I make, and that has served me well. It is a yummy combination. And you let the, it smells so good. Yes. Oh my God, I love my life, seriously. I don't have money, I am not a millionaire, but boy oh boy, the joy of cooking and dealing with friends, teaching Spanish, working with SWRA. Listen, my life has purpose. Find a way to do stuff, no matter how small, that bring you joy, right? That's what causes you to live longer and better. I mean, you can live long, but if you're miserable, what's the point, right? You want your life to have purpose. And you don't have to be known nationally, internationally. That's not what I mean. Just make a difference in someone's life. A few people. That's all you need. Don't, aim to be well-known, famous. What's the point of that? All right. Now the tomato paste also needs to cook, because otherwise if it's raw, there's a taste to it that you don't want, okay? I'm gonna let it cook down a little bit while I'm chopping some tomatoes here. Now remember, I do have a can of tomatoes. I just don't want to use it. I want to show you how you can do this easy. Woo! My chicken is looking good. And I don't want the chicken to overcook either, because it's going to cook a little bit in the soup. See, you got to have that mindset. You got to be thinking about everything that you're doing. So your brain's not going to go stale, right? Because you're always thinking, creating, strategizing, even in the kitchen. And I told you, that's the only place I can be creative. I'm not creative in any other realm. All right, so the tomato is going to go in here. I think I need my serrated knife. Knife with teeth. Called a serrated knife. Make sure I don't burn it. Then I'm going to use a little bit of my my stock to make my sauce, right? might do like 2 tomatoes, maybe 3, because you have the tomato paste for color, so the tomatoes is really for texture, right? Now don't use ketchup. Ketchup and tomato paste, totally different. Ketchup is loaded with sugar. Remember, it's pre-packaged. No bueno. You don't want that in your body. Eliminate the prepackaged food as much as you can. I know you can't really get rid of it completely. I get that. Unless you're going to be one of raw vegan going to live on the on the plantation somewhere in Jamaica. I want some soursop. Now I would love to be on the plantation in Jamaica and getting some soursop. Ooh, that is God's fruit there. Oh my God, that stuff is so good. You know, people make, my mother, when I was growing up, they made like what we call smoothies. We didn't know there were smoothies then. It was like milk, ice, sugar, and carnation milk. If you know, you know. All right? So we did that. And when you came home, because school had 2 sessions when I was growing up, 8 to 11 and then 1 to 4. So you went home, you walked home for lunch. And then that's when the magic happened, when the person who's the cook at the house would cook you a nice lunch. And I'm talking about, that's a heavy meal there, you know, meat with rice and plantains and, you know, stews and all kinds of soups and stuff. And then you go back to school, but you go back full. And we walked to school, walked home, walked to school again, and walked home. You see why our kids were not fat? No, because we moved. That's why kids in Africa aren't fat. They move, they walk. We have become so addicted to convenience, and that's what's killing us. Look at this beauty. Isn't that beautiful? All right, so I'm going to turn the oven off. Let me take the corn. Woo. Checking the corn to see if it's cooked. Oh yeah. Oh yes, baby, we're good. So we're gonna turn that off. Listen, you want to make roast corn? Buy fresh corn. Take it off the shaft and toss it in some herb oil. Voila. Now see, if you're a lazy cook, it's going to be a problem because you're not going to take the time to. So I'm going to use a little bit of my stock here, and then I'm going to add water. Okay? I'm cheating a bit because I don't have a whole lot of stock, and some of it is going to be for the soup. So, actually, we're pretty good. So if you are thinking of 1 can of stewed tomato or diced tomatoes, there you go. You don't need to buy the canned stuff. This, you know what's in it. You made it. How long have you been living abroad? 2.5 years. Almost 3. In Panama. I mean, I visited and traveled, but I haven't lived abroad. Well, I was in South Africa for like 90 days. I don't think that counts. You know, another thing you see in some recipes for tomato sauce, they'll add a little bit of sugar. I don't. But this is basil, which is good because it's a tomato product, so good pairing there, right? And I'm thinking the carrot also takes the place of the sugar. That's good. All right, just for a minute here, and then now we're gonna start our soup. I think we're ready. We are ready. All right, I have some red onion. I'm gonna use one. The phone is on a charger, so I am trying to get it as close as I can. Oh, that corn tastes amazing. So I'm thinking if I'm making a salad, let's say a Southwest salad, wouldn't that be perfect for that? And then with the flavored cooked black beans, yes, we can do that sometime. And in fact, what I'm thinking, oh my gosh, this is so pretty. So good. Wow. Mm. Now see, I haven't done that before, but I just created this. This is the star, the herb oil. You saw me, that's all I put in that corn. Okay? I do have a video where I say I share my herb oil. It's just your oil, fresh garlic, and all the dry spices you want to put in there. This one I added some allspice also. Yummy. All right, let me see if I can bring this closer. Okay. So, I was thinking, I'm always thinking about different things. So let me tell you first about the membership program. When you're on YouTube, and I explained I did a video, I don't think I posted it yet, how you make money on YouTube. YouTube doesn't pay me just because I'm posting videos, right? So you have subscriber count. You subscribe because you want to see more of the content, right? That's why you subscribe. Or maybe when you're first getting started, you ask your friends to subscribe to support you. Those are the subscribers, the people who come back day after day to watch what you're doing, what you're cooking, what you're saying. But the way you make a little bit of money on YouTube is in the ad, right? When you subscribe, thank you so much. Everybody should be subscribed. If you're getting content or good information from a creator, not just me, the least you can do, you say thank you by subscribing, watching. The other thing you can do is just give the video a like. You see that thumbs up? It is so important. There is something called algorithm. And trust me, I don't understand it as well as some people, but it's a computer system that looks at your content and they analyze your audience, the people who have been watching you, and then they suggest it. Like when you log onto YouTube, and then on the right hand side you see a scroll of different videos that are suggested to you. That's what the algorithm does. It will look at the video, look at the content, and match the video to the people interested in the topic. Now, I don't know exactly how it works, because sometimes I work hard on a video and it gets very few views. Some people, like I'm watching a few creators right now. They have what I call momentum. Momentum is like people are really interested in what they're saying and they log on. And the other way subscribers help too is when they click the notification bell. You know, we're always telling you to do that so that when the video is posted, automatically it comes on your wall that, oh, so-and-so just posted a video, and then you get to check it out. So giving the likes, very important. Asking your friend and family, oh, listen, I watched this girl named Maggie. She does a cooking show. You ought to log on if you have nothing to do. Just watch her. And if this person, one tells one and the other one tells the other one, and that's the way you build an audience. But really, how you make a few dollars is when the video is playing and then an ad comes on. You know, the ads are annoying. There is a way for you to subscribe to YouTube and you pay, I don't know how much, for no ads. That way you're not bothered by ads. But that doesn't help me or any other creator if you don't watch ads. Because YouTube is a marketing engine, right? The only way they make money themselves, which is Google, it's owned by Google, is people advertise. They know millions of people are watching, so they want their information in front of how many people as possible. That's marketing. So they pay YouTube to watch, you know, for people to watch their stuff, and then YouTube says, oh, since the video was playing during, you know, the ad showed, this is the chicken, look how beautiful. Since the ad was playing while your video was being watched, then we'll give you a few cents based on how much money the company paid for the ad. Okay? So it's like an ad sharing type of setup. How much? I don't know. On YouTube, if somebody gives you a gift, YouTube takes 30% of it. So you don't get all of it. So when you give me a super chat, YouTube takes 30%. All right? But because YouTube has scale, you know, they have a lot of people, millions of people watching, and maybe millions also advertising on the platform. And that's why people who have the most subscribers, the more people might be watching those ads. That's the idea behind. So if you have a video that doesn't do well and you don't get a lot of views, and Mr. Algorithm doesn't say, oh, I think those people would be interested in that topic, then you're not going to make the ad dollars. That's what we call the partner program on YouTube. You become a partner with YouTube, and then you get a little check once a month. For me, it's around the 20th, 23rd. And I can tell you, the amount varies based on the views, right? Right now, we are in a, what do I call this? A lot of people go into some dry period. So as a creator, sometimes you go into a dry period where it doesn't look like anybody's watching your content. You don't get many views. That's where I am right now. And you know what? Listen, I am not worried about it because, you know, but there is a science to YouTube. I think it may have to do with me doing different things, so I'm not focused so much on just Panama and the relocation, because, you know, another thing you run into is that you kind of run up things to say. And I see people just say the same thing, they repurpose it, and that is the pressure that you get being a creator. You know, constantly you have to come up with new content. And let me tell you, that's exhausting. That's work. Because you have to research a topic. You have to do an outline, at least I do. And then you have to kind of stay on topic, because you've seen people, I mean, I've gone on some and watching somebody's video, and then a little bit into it, I'm like, what is she talking about? Because she's all over the place. And that's when I click off, right? You have to be able to hold people's attention. You have to talk about things that are of interest to people. And that is pressure. Now, the people who really have, got it down to a science, understand the ins and out of it, right? And, you know, and have built like a big business. People have left their jobs, younger people, not people like me. People who had jobs are doing so well, they left their job, but then there's always that pressure to perform, to deliver. Whew. And recently, like last year, they had a bunch of really big, successful creators just quit YouTube because they said the pressure was just too much. Because you know how it is, just like somebody comes into here and starts saying things to you, people feel some kind of way about just blabbing them out, just telling you how they feel about you. So I don't ever want to get to that point. I want to create a community where we can just have fun, and I am not pressured because YouTube doesn't pay my bill, right? So I'm not depending on YouTube to survive. That's the danger. You don't want that. But if you want to, stress yourself and that's what you want to do, you know what I always say, live and let live. All right, I'm going to start adding, let's see. Let me season a little bit more first before I add. My dear adobo. I love adobo. I love paprika, red pepper. What's not to like, right? Black pepper always. And in this particular recipe, I was able to find chili seasoning. This one says chili lime. And Bowl and Basket, like I said, that's a good brand here in Panama. So I'm very happy. It's usually a little bit more expensive, but I don't mind paying a little bit extra. So it's like chili powder, right? But I didn't see just chili powder, so we're going to try that and see. I am holding any kind of heat right now because I don't know how it's going to taste. But once we get the soup going, the liquid, I will be tasting it, and then that's when we start the seasoning, bringing it to where we want. Okay, so I'm going to throw in those black beans, maybe not all of it. I think black beans, I have the worst luck with black beans. These ones here are very tough. Ooh, looks good. All right, yeah, no more wine, no, because now we're gonna put the tomato mix. It's like dropping a can of diced tomato, except now this is exceptional. It's homemade and it tastes better, of course. All right. Ooh, look at that. So that's how you make money on YouTube. So I still haven't told you about the membership program. I was gonna put the chickpeas, but I'm gonna wait because the chickpeas cook so fast after I soak it. I'm gonna put it towards the end, okay? Because I don't want it to overcook. Gotta think. As a cook, as a chef, you are always thinking what you're doing. How is it affecting what you're doing? Your temperature. I tell people, controlling temperature is one of the best skills. One of the first skills you should learn as a cook. Because you don't want to burn things. I don't think I've burned things in a long time. Alright, so we're going to put the rest of the... I think I'm going to put a little bit more. Excuse me. Excusez-moi. Okay. I think that's good. Yes. Ooh. So pretty. Doesn't it remind you of a minestrone? It does. All right, so we're gonna let it come to a boil. And once it starts to consolidate, then we'll add our chicken. I don't think there's anything else. It's just a topping. With this soup, once you get it to the consistency that you want, everything is in it, because there's, no potatoes or anything like that in this soup, okay? I don't think so. Like I said, this is my first time making it, so if I'm missing something, you guys tell me. Well, I don't have any potatoes in the house. Serial killer. Oh no. What does that mean? Anita, good morning. Serial killer. What a name. Yeah, so, wow, let me cover this. So we still have our corn to add, chickpeas, and the chicken. And the topping, once it's in the bowl, I showed you which bowl I'm going to use. We're going to put it in here. Then we're going to crumble some of that tortilla. But you can do strips if you want. I didn't want to bother with that. And we're going to chop some cilantro. I have avocado. You can decorate and top it with avocado. I do have avocado, so we're gonna put some avocado on top and cilantro, and then I got some sour cream. Ooh, that's gonna be good. All right. So I don't feel too bad. It's not heavy in carbs, so my conscience is gonna be okay when I go to the gym today. Oh, I tell you, I gotta make myself go to the gym because the membership program. Maggie, get with the program, right? Okay. Since I was doing the challenge, the 75-day challenge, which I was happy with, but still, I want to set up a new goal for the end of the year, and I have some sisters who are going to come along with me. So, this is a lifestyle. We're not doing it, I told you before, just to make you look like you were 20. That's not the goal. The goal is for you to look good and feel good about yourself, your mental health, physical health, and then it's going to be encompassing everything, nutrition, rest, exercise, stress management, all of that. Because as we age, we need to master those skills to make sure we live the best life possible, right? And that includes everything. You could be a caregiver like our friend Debbie, but still she needs to self-care, because you can't be a caregiver 24/7 and neglect yourself, because then who's going to take care of you? You got to take care of you before you can take care of other people. So I thought, since we're going to be doing that, why not consider the membership program and add that, make it like a marriage. Because I told you how we make a few dollars from YouTube from the ads running. And my checks from YouTube, it goes from 3 something. I had one check that was like $1,500, when I had a couple of videos that did well. But, you can't count on it. You can't budget for it. So if it happens, you say thank you, and then you keep it moving. So the people who have, Stephanie Perry has 190-some thousand people. Yeah, and she says that YouTube is helping her maintain her lifestyle. Yeah, I think once you hit the 100,000 subscriber mark, even if not everybody is watching at the same time, but you have leverage in the sense of the numbers. So if you say, well, I'd like to make $2,000 a month on YouTube from the ad revenues, yeah, I think it's doable once you hit that 100,000 subscribers. 100,000, yeah. But anyway, gosh, I'm at 17.3. I'm a long way from that, so I can't count on YouTube for that. The other way people make money on YouTube is that once your channel becomes known to business people, and sometimes they see a synergy between your topic, your audience, and their product, they'll contact you. I've been contacted by a lot of people, cat litters, strips, whitening strips, and all kind of, I haven't done any of that. Because, whenever I start looking at the email, and I'm like, is that legit? Because I'm very careful about which email I respond to, and I'm like, here's the link, check the product. I'm like, I don't know. I'm very careful about that. So I haven't done any of those brand deals, but people have done them. Um, Also, another way people make money on YouTube is through membership. Membership is that you know your audience and you know what you give to your audience. You know me. I'm talking about Panama, relocation, single women. So my audience is single older women who are thinking of retiring abroad. And I know some people who are in my audience who are not retired. I have people saying, I'm not thinking of retiring. And I'm like, great. At least you can still find value in what I'm saying. That's amazing, right? So right now I'm trying to expand. It's not into a new audience, but just the offering, right? Because I'm saying, yes, we want to retire abroad. I'm going to teach you how you can retire abroad. And several of you have made relocation calls with me where you say, well, do you have a lawyer you can recommend? Somebody to pick me up from the airport. What about getting an apartment? Blah, 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 blah. And I walk you through it. This is what we do. Now, people call themselves coach, one-on-one coaching. I'm not a coach. So I don't label anything. I say, you can do a relocation call and I will help you. But that's it. I know. I'm not going to sell you something that I'm not. I'm a nurse. I'm a retired nurse. I can talk about that. But I don't have any coaching certification, so I'm not going to call myself a coach. I said, we can chat and I can kind of give you some pointers. That's it. All right? So membership is, because once you become a partner with YouTube where you can get access to those little dollars, then YouTube says you can also make a few extra coins by having a membership program, which means you're going to create a smaller group within your audience and you're going to give them some added value. And to me, that meant more work. I was like, I try to do a video once a week on Wednesdays. Since now I'm not working with a virtual assistant, it takes me a little while. Sometimes it's on Thursdays that you see it, so be kind. But I felt that if I did a membership, what else can I give my audience in addition? Because as I said, you get a topic, you got to research it, then you have to stand in front of the camera and you got to talk about it intelligently in a constructed, organized manner so you're not all over the place. Because me, if it's like this, I'm clicking off. And people will do the same thing. And I have people tell me like my intros are too long. They're like, get with the program. Very few people. But I'm like, you know what? This is not one of those. I'm not in a classroom. I'm not doing bullet point 1, 2, 3. I want to create community. I want to talk to people. And I tell them, if you're in such a rush and you want to get to it, you can click off. It's okay. You have the power of the mouse. Just go. But anyway, this lady said, I really love your content, but sometimes I have to skip ahead to get to the point. I'm like, oh my gosh. Okay. So you have to record it, and then there's something called editing. Editing means you look at the video, you see were there any areas where you like ooh and you're trying to cut it off. And to me, that takes me the longest time. I am not an editor. That's why I was paying someone to do that. And then to put what they call the B-rolls, pictures and this and that, this is not my forte. All right? So there is work that goes into creating a video. And for me to go and try to do more than what I was doing, I didn't want to do that. That's why I didn't do it. But now that I'm setting up a different goal, and I want to continue my exercises Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and if you took any of my classes, I say I'm going to do very beginner on Mondays, intermediate on Wednesdays, and advanced on Fridays. So I was like in the shower, and I'm like, why don't you just take that and put it into a membership program? And that's what I'm doing. So I finally tried to figure out this membership thing. And there was a lot of videos I had to watch on how to set it up and the perks and the levels. So I created something on Monday. So if you pay, I think the first level is like a $5.99 a month. You're going to be able to have access to my live exercises Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And then if we do a live Q&As, which we're going to be doing once a week, after one of those sessions, probably on Wednesday. No, that's when I make the video. No, we're probably gonna do it on Friday. Um, right, I don't have a Spanish class on Friday. And then that's level 2. All the classes plus the live, the Q&As, the exchanges. And you know the beauty of the membership program is that you're gonna have a small group within you, my audience, right? These are the people who are gonna rock with you, who wanna support you. So sometimes people say, "Oh, Maggie, how do I buy you a coffee?" And I'm like, "Hey, what? I don't know how to do that." I have not looked at that. She's like, "We need to buy you a coffee." You know, people want to say thank you, and people are generous that way. So I say, if you want to support me, just join the membership program, right? For $5.99 a month, you're still gonna get to talk to me. Ooh, it looks so good. All right, I'm gonna put this back again so you guys can see. And 1 minute. So look at that. Ooh wee. That is so pretty. Look at that. And the consistency, I think it was the tomato paste that gives it the right consistency. Oh, all right. Really good. All right. And we haven't even put the chicken in there yet. Whoa. It's really gonna be good. Now I have my lime ready. Beautiful lime. And oh, those were the two. That was the garlic. Oh yeah, we're gonna use that garlic. You can't ever have too much garlic in my view. Okay, so I'm gonna take the garlic from the chickpeas. We're gonna smash them and put them in the soup. Yes. ¿Por qué no? So that was level 2. And level 3, so you have to give something extra. In level 3 is when we're going to be cooking together. We're going to be talking about wellness. We're going to talk about smoothies. We're going to make smoothies. And this morning I had another brainy idea. You know, these ideas come to me at the most unexpected time. I told you I have a channel that I call the Soup Channel. I set up the channel, but I haven't done anything with it. So I'm thinking, just like we're doing soup this month, I think next month we're going to be doing bowls. You know, I told you I'm only creative in the kitchen. So I think there are ways we can create healthy bowls, right? And I'm definitely going back to more whole food plant-based recipes where we don't have to eat meat. Because you know your protein, oh my gosh, that tastes so good. Your protein alternatives are like tofu, chickpeas, green peas, and they have other things too. I'm not an expert, so I'm putting some chickpeas in here just because I love chickpeas that much. Oh. And I'm thinking one day we can do like a hummus-based type of dressing. So when we do our bowl, oh, in my mind, I'm already thinking of what it's going to look like. And, oh, I tell you. All right. And then now I feel bad about putting that corn in there because I want to eat that. Look how pretty. Oh, my goodness. Now, this is for me to snack on. Oh my goodness. All right. What I don't like about this burner is like when I don't cover it, it's like it doesn't boil. All right, let's get the chicken. Because we're almost ready here. Ooh. Now this is a soup, you know, sometime I told you like last week how we can put like a slurry to thicken the soup. I don't think this soup is that kind of soup. We don't want it, we still want it to be a bit brothy, okay? So we don't want it to be like our, what's that one that I made? The hearty minestrone. Oh my God, that was a good soup. So we got to figure out what kind of soup we're gonna make next week. I think someone told me butternut squash soup. I was worried about not being able to find butternut squash, but I think I saw it. I am. Oh, you don't see it, but I'm cutting the chicken in cubes. Okay? Ooh, so good. I have some ginger in there. Ooh, I can taste it. When you marinate your chicken, get some fresh ginger and throw it in there. Thank me later. Ginger and chicken, it's a really good pairing. Okay? So now I am chopping this, kind of medium-sized dice. Oh, look at that. Look at that. For me. Listen. Play with your food. You know I say that all the time. Alright. In goes the chicken. Now, isn't that gonna be an amazing soup? Look at that. But I really need it to thin out a little bit. But now you know we're gonna have to squeeze some of that lime in there. Yes, we need that. We need cilantro. All right. And realizing that, yes, there is no heat in this dish. So I am going to squeeze some lime, and then I need to throw like a whole habanero in here. I have not put in a bouquet garni. We're gonna do that. So, whole habanero. Squeeze lime juice. Lime, lemon, good for you. Put it in your food, in your water, in everything. In your smoothies. And in your smoothies, make sure you use the skin. So we'll be doing that our level 3 membership. Wow, this is, now whoever sent me this recipe, this is really good, thank you. All right, so now we gotta play with the taste, okay? So I need a little cumin. I had sage already in the meat, so we're adding cumin. Cumin is one of those stabilizing spices. You don't need a lot, but it just gives it a certain je ne sais quoi. A sign of a good cook is someone who's cooking something and then can play with flavor, right? Decide, okay, what else do I need? I have fresh thyme, definitely gonna kick it up a bit. So we're gonna put fresh thyme. Oh, when I see that, you take a whiff and you're like, smells so good. Fresh thyme. You don't have to be Caribbean to like thyme. The French use a lot of thyme as well. And we're going to use some of our cilantro. Yes. We're going to drop it in there as a bouquet. That's what we call it, a bouquet garni. Garni means garnished with all the herbs. Right? Okay? You tie it and you dump it in there, and then you remove it at the end. You're building flavor. You're trying to say, okay, what else can I put in this to bring the flavor up a notch? Okay? Wow. Now I have to watch because I don't want my chicken to just disappear in there, right? Okay. So if it gets to a point where it's not the consistency I want, I may have to add a little slurry to it, but that cumin really worked. Okay? So I think I need a little bit more acid. Don't use vinegar. Oh, please, don't send me to my early grave. Do not use There are other uses for vinegar. Clean your meat with it. Oh, wow. It's like a Southwest kind of soup, isn't it? Yeah. But now I think I can put a little bit of that chili pepper in here. I had a little bit that kind of fell down. We're going to use some of that chili pepper. You know, here they call him ají. Chili pepper. I have a little bit more. Pimiento roja cayena. It's like a little bit of cayenne pepper in here. If you don't want to, don't. Because you know me, I always like a little bit of heat. Okay, all right. I think we will put a little bit of the slurry in there. I don't know, it's missing something. Something is missing. Did I miss something? Paprika, lemon pepper. I have a lemon pepper mix here. Let's put a little bit of that in there. And I have an Old Bay. I haven't used it for seafood, poultry, and salad. Let's see if it has anything crazy. If it has MSG, it doesn't go in my food. Celery salt, celery seeds, spices, including red pepper, black pepper. Okay, I can do that. I am not putting MSG in my body. No, ma'am, no, sir. That's why all those of you using your cube, you know, when I see somebody cooking, you know, they're like, oh, so impressive. And then they bring the little package with the powder. That's when I click off. And I'm like, you are not a good cook if you have to use those little packets. Don't do that. Because it's full of MSG. I think I got it. Yes. Gotta play with your food. Alright, I'm gonna do just a little bit of slurry just because I don't want it to keep boiling and my chicken is gonna fall apart. No bueno. I mean, you don't have to. I'm probably going to get a couple of comments saying, you didn't have to put that in there. I know. I just like my soup to be a little bit with the little body. So maybe I put too much liquid in there. It's quite possible. But there's always a fix, right? There's always a fix. Okay, I think we got it. Yes. And I was gonna say, if you vegan, don't look, but there's chicken in there, so it's not vegan. Ooh. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. Alright, so I'm gonna put a little bit of butter, you know me. Monte au beurre, this is French. I am part French, so please excuse it. We got, somebody asked me the other day, why do you buy unsalted butter? Because she find that unsalted butter is more expensive. I think butter in itself is expensive. So You see that little bit of butter I put in there? Maybe a teaspoon. That's not gonna give you a heart attack, so don't come at me with that. I'm a nurse. You can't tell me these things. If I cook once a week and I put a teaspoon of butter in my food, that is not gonna cause me to have a heart attack. So don't go there. I'm telling you, don't go there. Look at this beauty. Oh my gosh. Whoever gave me that recipe, the suggestion, thank you. I made soup last night. Good for you, Chef Cliss. I made the creamy version. Good for you of the what did she say? Chicken. Oh, I'm forgetting the name of the soup. What is this thing? Tortilla. Tortilla. Chicken tortilla soup. But now me personally, I don't like anything creamy. Like pasta, creamy white sauce. I don't like any of that. Okay? I'm more of a red sauce. I love pasta, but I can't have it too much because it's full of carb and it makes me sweat. So, growing old is no fun. Postmenopausal, but here, oh my God. I say that about everything that I cook, but I am not kidding you, people. Play with your food. Play with the flavor. Balance it. And acid will always balance your flavor in your food. So when your food is like, you may have to add a little salt and squeeze a little lime juice or lemon juice. I guarantee you. All right, so let's plate this soup. Ooh. So exciting. All right, let me put my wow. This is so nice. Okay, remember my pretty bowl? We're gonna put it, good morning, Maggie. Greeting, yes, okay, Yvette. Oh, Yvette, you said you were gonna watch. Do you like the way this one came out? You said you made the creamy version. I don't know if you meant about this soup. All right, so here is my ladle. So good. Oh, this thing is deep. It's gonna take a lot of soup. Okay, this is for plating, but oh my gosh. It is so pretty. And look at that. You have chicken, you have black beans, you have chickpeas, you have corn, and we made our own tomato sauce. Listen, I'm not playing when I tell you to play with your food because I play with my food all the time, okay? So, wow. Ooh-wee. But that kind of reminds me of the hearty minestrone, right? Okay. All right, we're gonna move this over here. So you could see it over here. Oh my gosh. It is so pretty. I'm telling you. And you know, this is a labor of love. It didn't take a long time, right? But you just have to think and talk yourself through it. So I'm going to chop some some cilantro. But I also have the avocado. All right. So we're going to be doing that together. Let's get, you know, I don't even buy napkins in here where I live because it's like, I use a paper towel. All right. We're going to get a nice spoon. And of course, I did not go to the store and buy fancy, you know, silverware, you know what I mean? We are not doing that. So, put that here. We're gonna put a couple of slices of avocado. we're gonna crumble some of that tortilla on top, cilantro, and then I have some sour cream. Oh. Well, I had to really work on keeping a little bit of sour cream for this because I love sour. I was able to find Daisy here. I love sour cream with a little bit of agave, or I have maple syrup, and then just snack. Mm-hmm. Yes. All right. Cilantro. Vamos. No, that's parsley. I want cilantro. And you know, here we use culantro a lot, but para esa receta necesito cilantro. Sí. So tomorrow, 8 o'clock, we get back to work. And like I said, I was bad for my birthday, which I intended to be, because you gotta live a little. You can't restrain yourself all the time. Because if you don't, if you deprive yourself all the time, when you do give in, you're gonna binge and then you might fall off the rail. Don't do that. Go off the rail, I should say. Now see, this is the thing, with cilantro, you have got to use it fast or it starts to mess up from inside the package. So you have to use it fast. It does not last. So let me rinse. I don't know where that thing's been. Make sure you rinse your herbs if you can, okay? Because you don't know where this thing has been. Alright. And of course you don't want it too thin when you're chopping it. Little rough chop, okay? Alright. So, we're going to crumble some of that play with your food. Yep. So, aguacate, el aguacate. A ver. El aguacate. Yeah, I thought somebody said it's a fruit. I got a good one. You know, it's always a surprise when I buy avocado. Look at this. Oh, it is so pretty. You know, if it's not that orangey color, you didn't do good. All right? Whoa. I love it. Wow. Oh, look how pretty. You know, when I pick an avocado, I pretend like I know what I'm doing, but I'm always hoping that it comes out like this. That's why I like Panamanian avocado. I haven't bought a Haas since I've been here. Why? When I have this beauty, look at this. Are you seeing it? Are you seeing what I am seeing? You see the beauty in this thing? Oh. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Look, look, look. You're playing with your food. I'm gonna put a little bit over here, a little bit over there. Oh, okay, we're good. And some sour cream. Oh my goodness. I told you I've been eating the sour cream, right? Yeah, it's too much. Put that on the side. Wow. Mm. Oh my goodness. I love it. Oh my God, the avocado is amazing. Tortilla, chicken tortilla soup. Here it is. What do you think? We did it again. Oops, we did it again. Greta, you better hurry. Isn't that amazing, you guys? Oh, isn't it? I mean, listen. I can't think of anything else to do on a Sunday morning. Well, I used to go to church a lot when I was younger. I don't go to church anymore, but God and I, we're good, so please don't criticize, okay? Oh, look at this. Oh my gosh, it's beautiful. And the thing is, you want to be sure your food, you plate it, because plating was always part of my training. That's why I went and bought the specific bowl. But plating is very important because if the food looks good, your brain sends signal that says, oh, you start salivating. That's the way it works, right? So that's why they always say you eat with your eyes. So when you're putting food on a plate, you want contrast and colors and textures, right? That's what makes you want to eat it. Of course, you had to work on making sure it tastes good because looks can be deceiving. So work on flavor first and then the plating. All right, guys. Remember, we start back tomorrow 8 a.m. with our workout. Tomorrow is going to be easy peasy. Wednesday, moderate. Friday, advanced. Friday, we're going to do our live. And I got to think on another day that we're going to cook. So start thinking about recipes you'd like to do together. We'll be cooking while we're chatting. And, smoothies. I got lots of smoothie recipes. And then we can talk about anything and everything that you want because remember, it's a smaller community. So you're going to learn to know each other and we can congregate and we can share and support each other. So we're not going to be longer than an hour. So whatever we're going to do is going to be short and sweet, like smoothies. And for my soup channel this morning, I started thinking soups and bowls. That's what I'm going to call it. I'm going to change the name because I think while that I have this bowl here, you can put anything in this bowl. Not just soups, but let's say you have quinoa, you have black beans. And then yesterday I cooked the conch. Did I tell you? You saw there's a video where I cooked the conch. And then I cooked the conch and then I put a little bit of tomato paste and put it to the side. And then I roasted the vegetables, eggplant, carrots, chayote, peppers, that I had tossed in the herb oil, so it was good. And then I brought it together with the conch. I have a video about that. It was so good. But I was trying to not to have any kind of carbs. I didn't want any rice. I didn't want any quinoa, no chips, no bread. It was amazing. It was amazing. But now that I know I can do this roasted corn, if you make a salad, make some of this and just put it on top. Or boil the chickpeas, toss them in the herb oil, put it in the oven instead of croutons. All right? All right, guys. It's an hour and 30 minutes. It's time to say goodbye. I will see you tomorrow. Thank you for hanging with me. God loves you. I love you. Au revoir. Bye. Have a good day.